So we welcome in today Scott Lee from the New England Metal and Hardcore Fest. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, thanks, man. So this is the congratulations, because this is the 15th year of the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival, and I wanted to just start off by asking you, why do you think the festival has been able to achieve this kind of longevity?
We just, because the fans in New England are awesome, and they love their metal and hardcore, and it has to do with that, and just, I think it's, we just keep working hard and pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to get the best bands we possibly can.
Good answer. I agree. And what gave you, thinking back over 15 years, what was the original idea you had to actually put on the festival in the first place?
What was the date, or?
No, I mean, what gave you the idea to kind of put the festival together?
I went to another festival and was basically saw how bad it was running, how bad the vibe was, and fucking came back and did our own, trying to make it the best.
Awesome. I also wanted to ask, I know it's not quite the same thing as the big open-air shows that they have in Europe and South America, but it's still kind of a big logistical nightmare to put on a weekend-long festival in New England in the spring, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a chore.
Right. What is it, how do you wrangle all the bands together and, all the intersecting mini tours that wind up as part of the festival?
Well, a lot of tours now are made to come to Metal Fest and back, and there's other festivals that have been created on their own Metal Fest, like the Jamboree Festival in Ohio, so bands can have two stops and stuff like that. But Mass Concerts is a concert company first and foremost, and so we're talking to all these agents, and we just try to find out what bands are coming over, what bands are touring, what's this, what's that, new records. And that's basically the formula of what we do to make it happen. Yeah?
Right. And there's also the Battle of the Bands and the Road to Metal Fest tour. So there's a lot of stuff. Kind of the Metal Fest has become like its own little metal touring ecosystem, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we got Michigan Metal Fest, which is like basically the hardcore tour, and we have Road to Metal Fest, which is like the more metal type of tour, and then we have Breakthrough Music series, which is basically a really cool version of Battle of the Bands, where people win, go on to different stages and different parts, and it's voted on by crowd response and different things like that. And it's really kind of a cool thing. It's not cheesy at all. And people don't get ripped off, and it's good. It's a good time. It's good for the younger bands, so they play the fest, and they play the winners play the main stage of the festival, and so that's pretty cool too. Yeah, man, we have a lot going on. Metal Fest, Road to Metal Fest and Michigan Quest to Metal Fest. It's pretty cool. It's definitely cool.
Right, I've been to a couple of the Breakthrough shows, and I have to agree with you. They're definitely not cheesy, and they're really well done, and I think the bands all appreciate the experience, even if they don't win.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we do with other series too. We do with Warped Tour stage, or with Rock and Shock, and it's really cool. It's a good time.
Definitely. I was going to say, this year's festival's got perhaps one of the most diverse lineups I can remember in the history of the fest. Do you think that's because of the changing tastes of fans, or it's just kind of the times? You have kind of the thrash night, and just happens that it's the Metal Alliance tour, a lot of thrash, and then Saturday's kind of a lot of the folk and other, sort of kinds of metal, pagan metal, and Sunday we always have the hardcore day and sort of the hardcore metal acts.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a variety of, there's definitely going to be more metal bands. I think there's more metal bands than hardcore bands this year. But it's definitely a good mixture of everything. I mean, you got pagans, you got thrash, you got hardcore, you got metalcore, you got proper metal, you got power metal, you got fucking doing your escape plan, tech metal. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
Right, and you guys are still adding new bands. I just saw Goat Whore get added. I mean, wow.
Yeah, Code Orange Kids just got added today too. There's probably going to be 2 more added, and one's on the bigger, the special guest, and then one's on a smaller level. But
Awesome, man. I can't wait to hear that announcement. I remember bumping into you last year on Sunday. We were both beat and standing outside the venue, outside the Palladium. And I remember you asked me, like, have I thought about next year? And I was like, are you thinking about next year? So are you already planning next year's show now or soon?
Afterwards, a little bit during, you know what I mean? I asked you during the Sunday, what do you think?
Yep. And I said Anthrax, and you were like, I don't know, they've played here a lot. I don't think we're going to get them again soon. That was great.
Things happens weird, right?
Yeah, well, I won't complain. I love Anthrax, and they always get a great response, at the Palladium. So I think it'll be an awesome night. Plus all the other bands. Still waiting on Cryptopsy and Decapitated, but maybe Summer Slaughter or Worcester Death Fest or something.
Yeah, there's definitely there's stuff going on with both those bands.
Oh wow, awesome. And, I don't know if a lot of people know this, because I don't think you necessarily, reach to be in the spotlight, but obviously you're a big personality here locally, and a lot of people know you, but I don't think a lot of people know about all your different business ventures that kind of overlap with music and hardcore and metal. Do you want to talk about how you got your start in the business and some of the stuff you're working on beside Metal Fest?
Well, I work for Mass Concerts. I've been working for them for about 18 years now, doing production and booking, and also been have a management company with my partner D.R.I called Crimson Management, and manage a plethora of bands. And then we have what else we do? I have a clothing company with my friend Nick Holman called Shook. We have a VIP ticketing company called Soundlink. What else? It's good. And then Metal Fest. There's a lot of things going on.
Right.
A lot of irons in the fire.
Right, and plus you mentioned earlier Rock and Shock, so man, I think a lot of people beside the Palladium and other local theaters you guys are involved in, obviously there are other big events during the year that you guys, the Mass Concerts helps run, and you're a part of that, so that's great, man. Thank you.
No problem.
I also I'd be remiss to mention, I just interviewed Hatebreed recently, and we talked about Metal Fest and what it means to them having, played the first one and now coming back. And obviously Hatebreed played the first Metal Fest, and they were really just starting to become nationally known. I remember them from being sort of an underground band, and then they became huge, in a matter of time. How does that feel to sort of bring them back as one of the headline bands this year on Friday?
Oh, that's great. They're awesome, right? I mean, I've been friends with Jamie for years now, and all those dudes. And the band's just incredible. And there's nothing wrong with Hatebreed at all. It's old, new. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fucking AC/DC. It's they don't really go outside the box very much. You can count on a very brutal record. They're great people, nice people, and they keep it real. It's always they don't ever put on a bad show. And that's the bottom line.
Awesome, I agree. Any bands you're personally excited to see this year at the festival?
Who am I excited to see? Saving Grace from New Zealand. Band's hard as shit. It's like, pretty excited to see, let's see, the Ruins is good. The Orange is always a fun time, I'm really excited to see, some tendencies and like Anthrax so much the living set, it's just like, Power Trip, Twitching Tongues. It's just like D.R.I, 6 foot all. I'm excited to see a lot of the bands with you. You know what I mean? And it's always, you know, the reason since we do this, you know, one of the reasons why I do this is because I'm a fan of the music. You know what I mean? And you know, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Right, anybody who comes to the fest can always catch you either near the foot of the stage or on the side of the stage watching bands. You and I have seen each other many times during the shows.
Yeah.
You're everywhere, dude. I don't know how you cover so much ground and, you know, run the show too. It's crazy.
I don't either. I just work. I just walk. You know what I mean? It's just people like go, you're like a ninja. I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, a ninja. I don't see those very often. You know, but it's you know, I just keep working.
Maybe you can get that put on your next business card, like Scott Lee, you know, mass concerts, you know, band management, ninja.
I'll try that. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, man. That one, the first one's always free. So a couple more questions, man. You've been awesome with your time so far. Thanks so much. Do you have kind of a single performance that ever stands out to you that you will always remember the rest of your life? Like one band, one performance at Metal Fest? I know there's been a zillion.
There's so many, to be honest with you. There really is so many. I can't think of them. Lamb of God playing 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That performance is groundbreaking. 1 year. I mean, you know, it's just Valor just blends together. You know, Acacia Strain 1 year. You know, DL smashing his guitar by accident, and having to use Bohemian's guitar.
Right.
The rest of stuff. You know, incidents come to my mind. Now, you know, not like very much like a perfect set. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like Dragon Force playing their first United States ever was at the festival. You know?
Right.
That type of thing. You know.
Right.
You know, that's basically, you know, what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Do you ever have a band you'd love to get to headline but you haven't been able to yet?
Slayer.
Right. That's getting harder and harder. They're losing guys.
Right.
It's kind of rough right now. I hope they get their act together.
Yeah, I mean, like that, Black Sabbath, you know what I mean?
Right.
That type of shit.
That level.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Metallica, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that type of shit. I mean, we're at a level now where it's like, we've done them all big. I mean, we've done all, like, like Megadeth and Mastodon, and, we've done everything, you know what I mean?
Right, you've had just
We
about
haven't had,
everybody
like,
else.
We haven't had, like, Metallica or Slayer yet, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or, you know?
Maiden.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, that type of thing. Maiden, something that's, like, not supposed to happen, you know what I mean? It's like, like, what are you thinking?
Well, right. Well, I believe you can do it, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, and one day you and I will have a laugh about this when you guys get one of those bands. Really quick, a couple of years back, I bumped into a couple after the Saturday night of one of the Metal Fests. I bumped into a couple who are from Australia, and they had never seen a handful of the bands, and they were like, oh, we had to come here. We've never been to America, but we flew to Boston, came to Worcester, and we saw Biohazard and Hatebreed and, Bonded by Blood. And, that just blew me away. Have you heard any other, like, crazy stories of fans coming from all over the world for this thing?
Fuck yeah, dude. We have somebody came from Iraq. Like, some dude, like, he came in. I'm here for the festival, whatever. I'm like, that's cool. You're from fucking Iraq. God damn.
He was Iraqi? That's amazing.
And then, like, we get a lot of people from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, like that. People come from all over the place, Tasmania. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's really cool. It's like a lot more people come from like further away than you would think. Like, not too many Europeans come, or people from the UK or anything like that. I mean, a couple from the UK, but not too many Europeans come because I think they look at the festival and go, we do this 20 times the size of this. What are you talking about, dude? What's going on here? What are you trying to do here, kid? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, those festivals are huge, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, you know, it's like, you get a lot, like a lot of people from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, stuff like that. Mexico's a lot of things. Puerto Rico, I know like 20 people coming from Puerto Rico this year.
That's amazing.
It's cool. It's like, it's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's like, you know, it's like, you know, we had people from Japan last year, and they the language, but they didn't understand English at all. And it was just like trying to figure out how to get them VIP. They wanted VIP tickets. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, this is not going to work out here. Because I gave them this band, I'm like, here's your VIP tickets. You can do this. And then, thank you. I was like freaking out. I'm like, all right, cool, man. All right, you have good time, you know what I mean?
Right.
People just come over and hang out, you know? It's just, like, it happens. Like, we had a friend of ours last year just pop up. He's from Colorado. And yeah, man, I just want to hang out. I sleep in your room. Yeah, dude, all right, cool. You know, it's like, and then people just come and it's like a vacation or a holiday for people, and it's good.
That's great, man. That's so great. All right, man. Just kind of a last question for you, which is, where do you see us going in the future? You know, we always have this sort of pre-party now on Thursday. You know, I don't know if we could do more than a 4-day weekend, but, you know, obviously there's always a lot of other shows going on too. You know, this is, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that it's, you know, has become one of the premier events, especially in the Northeast, but in general in America, of metal weekend festivals. Is not as many as you would think there would be. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of festivals, and there's a couple that are really good, and there's a bunch that really suck. You know, and it's like, but like I said before, the Jamboree is a good festival, you know, if you go to in Ohio, and I went to the California Metal Fest this year, and that was a good time. I had a good time at that, and it was really funny because people were amazed that I was there. Like, what are you doing here? You know, like fuck off! I can come to a festival. You know, it's just, I don't know. I think it's like what we have in store. We just want to keep it real and keep doing what we're doing and try to do things that are cool, like the VIP tickets, the pre-party. Revocation's going to be headlining the pre-party with a Life Once Lost, and another big special guest on that, and like Into the Wind, and a lot of cool bands going to be playing it, and we're going to come do some really cool stuff upstairs, talking to Jeremy Saffer about doing a heavy metal photo booth, and like, you know, just doing fun shit with that. And we're trying to think outside the box with things, you know what I mean? We're going to have big, you know, jumbotrons and stuff we did last year, the different commercials, and it'll be cool, you know, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, man, I think things like that keep getting better. It's awesome that you mentioned Jeremy, who's always been a fixture at Metal Fest, and Earsplit PR. I got to send them a shout out. They're already doing a phenomenal job this year working with you guys. There's just so much to look forward to. Lots of good stuff to look forward to.
They smoke some weed and drink some beers and love Earsplit Media. They're awesome people.
That's awesome. Scott Lee, man, thank you so much for spending some time. Thanks so much for doing so much for the scene locally and nationally, if you think about it. Thank you, man, and I will see you soon.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.